Hi, welcome. My name is Anna Buchanan of AHA Body and Mind, and join me today for a quick myofascial release. All we need is a foam roller if you have. A good stand-in for a foam roller is a rolling pin or a firm water bottle wrapped around with a little hand towel just to make it a little softer. A ball of any kind of squishiness, a wall, and if you have a Pilates ball, that's a nice thing to explore in place of these harder things. Join me when you got your gear and we're gonna start standing. Okay, so you can put everything aside, starting with our hands, rolling the ball nice and vigorously through the palms, crisscrossing, doing a little crissy-crossy pattern. So myofascial release. Keyword is fascia. The network of connective tissue that wraps around our muscles down to every single muscle fiber. So it's very connected. It connects our whole entire body. If you think a big spider web sort of pattern, keeping our muscles in nice shape. So when we overuse our muscles or have habitual patterns, sitting too long, moving in one way too much, like our favorite ways of working out, if we consistently go back to what we are comfortable with, our muscles and our fascia start to habituate into those little tight spots that we often feel. Okay, taking that ball and then just slowly roll between the thumb and the index finger on the top of the hand. So hands and feet, very highly sensitive nerve endings, lots of connections, lots of joints. Wherever there's lots of bones, that means there's lots of joints. So we always want to stay on the meaty part of our muscles, never on the joints themselves, never on the bones themselves. And then let's let that go, put it under one foot. You might notice your hands might feel a little tingly, and then same idea, crisscross, roll it back and forth. So I'm going to kind of speed through this sequence, and I'm just going to do one side because we don't need to stay here all day. But you feel free to repeat this all on your second side. Don't need these guys, not reading. Crisscross, crisscross, go side to side. You're gonna choose how much pressure you wanna put on the ball. So we could kind of feel a tingly feeling in our hands. Our feet are gonna be just as sensitive. And if we do a lot of activities on our feet, the feet are probably gonna feel kind of tight. So be aware of that. When we're moving through stuff, we want to feel like a good 6 or 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. Never pain. Pain means we've gone too far. Okay, pause. Roll the foot back so now your toes are just wrapping around the ball. So again, depending on what kind of ball you have, your toe wrap is going to be really big or small. And then just gently rock, pinky side, big toe side to side. And then you can start adding a forward motion to that. So now the zigzag pattern is going from the ball of the foot under the arch. You'll have to use your wall or just hop forward, zigzag pattern all the way to the heel. Put your ball and toe on the floor and just gently press into the heel, just gently. All we're doing is getting a sense of tight spots. So if we have tight feet, it's going to zigzag through the whole entire musculature all the way up the body. And then just let that go. Take a second, just a second, to notice how one side feels compared to the other. Okay, so again, we're just going to do one side of the body to keep things efficient. I want to show you a few different ways that you can do this, so you always can just hit rewind and repeat it on your second side. Okay, so come down to the floor, bring your foam roller, bring your ball, and if you have a Pilates ball, it's nice to just feel the difference between them all. Feel free to roll a mat out. I'm not going to bother. I did just sweep my floor, so I feel relatively okay with it all. Okay, so under the same foot that you just rolled, put your roller or your roller stand-in. Like I said, a hard water bottle with a towel wrapped around it or a rolling pin. So we're gonna come and just put the roller underneath the calf right before the Achilles. So not on the Achilles tendon because that's gonna feel quite tender. Hands are gonna support you behind. Feel good in your shoulders. You can even come down on your elbows. And if this already feels uncomfortable and you have a Pilates ball, feel free to tuck it behind, just giving yourself that added support. So we want to be really comfortable here so that we can be very sensitive and make modifications and changes as we start feeling things loosen up. Okay, so you're set. On the fleshy part, right before the Achilles, flex the foot. point the toes. You might notice right off the bat that there's something tight on the back of the calf. Whenever you find that 6 or 7, never pain, whenever you find that 6 or 7 spot, you're bang on. You know you've found your tight little knot that you want to release. And when you find it, make sure you have a great big breath. And when you exhale, just melt the muscle around your support. So whatever it is that you're using. Okay, now if that feels okay, you can start gliding back and forth. We're not going to put a lot of pressure on it at first. Just going back and forth, shifting your weight, feeling things out, and then we can do a little bit more movement. So take that whole leg, pinky side goes out, feeling the outside of the calf. Internally rotate, big toe side goes down, rotate, feel the inside of the calf. Pause at a spot where it feels, okay, that might be a tight spot I want to try. And then when you get there, flex the foot. Big breath. Let it go. Melt your muscles against your support. Then point the toes and then roll away. And you can repeat that a few times. Pointing, flexing, breathing. Because changing the position of the feet is going to change how the muscles in the leg react. Remembering to breathe is super important because it's going to bring that healing circulation into the tissues. So fascia, spider web, it's a matrix. You think about a zigzag pattern of this invisible support system, almost invisible. It looks like saran wrap. Okay, find another spot a little higher up. So getting closer towards the knee, never on bone, just on squishy muscle. Find a good spot, kind of rolling around left and right, internally, externally rotating, finding that spot that might be a tight spot. So here's the thing about fascia is that it's force transmission, which means it's always trying to make our body efficient. So if we have a tight spot that's out of balance, it's going to start to transmit our body weight elsewhere. So we might have a sore calf, but really the problem might be up the line, say in our shoulder. Everything's related. So we have to explore different places all the way up the line. Okay, carrying on, move the roller a little bit closer. Coming right behind the hamstring, right behind the knee. Rolling back and forth. Let your hamstring and the back of the leg just kind of squish and melt. So we didn't do it with the calf, but we can try it here. Right now, we're just supporting ourselves with our hands on the floor and our other leg on the floor. Now, you can get a little crazier by putting both legs up. Roll around. And it takes a little bit of maneuvering, it takes a little bit of balance. But again, we're just feeling things out. When you got a good spot, notice if it's a 6 or a 7 or a 10. If it's a 10, back away, take some pressure off, breathe into it, and release into the roller. That's going to help open up those tissues. Let's try that internal rotation. So if this roller is too much, and sometimes depending on the density of the foam, it can feel like too much, especially if you're using a stand-in, like a water bottle, having a Pilates ball is a great way. And yeah, we're not going to get the kind of the tissues blasting open, but fascia is very sensitive and it really responds nicely to gentle touch. So sometimes we think the harder the better. But actually, soft touch is a great way to wake up fascial fluid. So just feeling things out. I prefer my hefty roller, so I'm going to go back, but we can try a ball on something else. Coming a little bit higher up the leg, still work with that same leg. This time you're just going to have to maneuver yourself and kind of rotate around. Your supporting leg can be behind or out front. So as we get closer, it's going to get a little tender up closer towards that hip bone. Remember, we're staying off of bone. We stay with the squish. Here's where instead of just pointing and flexing the foot, when you find a good spot, bend the knee, bring it heel to bum, and then extend out. Whew, ripping. Rolling around, finding those little knots, those tight spots. Pausing when you're at your 6 or 7. Have a breath. Soften into it. Let's do that again. Bend the knee, bring heel to bum. Holy smokers, right? Changes as soon as we add movement. Breathing, softening, rolling. Staying there as long as you like. When you're ready, carefully get yourself off of your roller. And we can stay on the floor. I'm just going to show you real quick on the floor. Where did my little ball go? There it is. Bringing the ball right to your side hip muscle, your glute med, not on the bony part of the hip, not in the front part, right on the side. So if you went to your hip crease and you roll it out and then up a couple inches, you're going to find a little juicy nugget of muscle right there. So you can take your ball or your foam roller and then just gently lower your body weight. And then again, we're going to strip it, go back and forth, zigzag. And you know when you've got the spot, it's going to talk. And when you get there, breathing, softening into it, add movement. Bend the knee, whoo, fires that muscle up. Extend out, breathing in, soften into it. Let's do that again. So either on the roller or the ball, staying off the bone. Breathing into it, bend the knee. Releasing, exhale, get nice and soft. Okay, I'm going to show you this up on the wall. So hopefully you've got a ball that's sticky. And again, this is full of tight connective tissue from here wrapping down, right where we rolled our IT band. So if you're super tight there, soft, gentle touch might be the better option. So all we're going to do is tuck the ball about 2/3 up the thigh and go up and down. And that might feel nice. Go front and back. Taking your time to let that fascial tissue just kind of be soft around the ball. That's if you're really tender. If you feel like you can handle a little more, use your ball or your roller against the wall. My hands are full. I wish I was an octopus. I could bring everything out. So finding that spot of the hip, not the bone, that squishy little spot that we can get into. We go up and down with the roller. Now on the floor, we added movement by bringing heel to bum. On the wall, we're in a different plane, so we can move our bodies differently. Just make sure your feet are stepped away from the wall. It's hard to see with this camera angle, but it's right at my glute med. Find a good spot, rotate the body away, then roll up and down. We've changed the position of the upper body. The pressure points are different on the roller. It's going to feel different. Breathing in when you've got that good 6 or 7. Breathe out, lean into the roller towards the wall. Okay, I'm going to put these guys down. We can use the ball, the big one, not the little guy. Let's get into the lower back fascia. So if you're using the ball, it doesn't matter where you put it because it just feels really nice to go up and down. It feels really nice and squishy, rolling left and right. That intersection in our lower back is such strong fascial connections because it's connecting our upper body with our lower body. So it's tight. And lower backs are often tight, right? But again, fascia is a transmission or a force transmission organ. And so our lower back might be tight, but guess what else might be tight? Our feet, our hamstrings, our shoulders. So you got to do it all in order to release the spot that's actually super chatty and most noticeable. Okay, so that's how we go with the ball. It doesn't really matter where because it's soft and squishy. If you're using your foam roller, remember we don't want to go on bone. We got a really long set of bones going up all the way up to our noggins. So we're going to take the foam roller and put it right at the top of your bum. So right where your butt cheeks are starting to kind of turn into your lower back. Step away from the wall so that you've got some maneuverability with your legs. And then we're just gonna go up and down, feeling that nice pressure of our upper butt kind of squishing against the surface of the roller. Now, if you have a smooth roller, it's gonna feel obviously smooth like a rolling pin kneading out the muscle tissue. But if you have a bumpy one with textures, you're gonna find some spots that are singing pretty loud. So again, always staying at that 6 and 7, breathing into it and taking a pause to melt. Okay, now we can kind of turn to the side and still do the up and down, not going on bone, but tracing around our butt muscle. Breathing, nice and easy. And I can already tell, now that I'm standing, I can already tell that my leg that I've been working on in this little demo feels a whole lot better. My hip feels freer. My lower back on that side feels a little bit more expansive. So just picking up that kind of awareness too. Okay, let's take that out and let's take a moment to notice. Because here's the other thing about fascia, is that it is an awareness. It's an organ of awareness. So it helps us feel our bodies. When it's overly tight, there's all these fascial knots and adhesions that change the way that we're able to perceive how our body's moving. So by even just something as gentle as using the Pilates ball or a really soft child's ball is a nice way to just kind of wake up that the wisdom of the body, honestly. Okay, let's take this. We can use this or we can use our Pilates ball. We're going up to the mid-back. Mid-back, bra strap area, right about the spot where you can't reach your sunscreen. And then step far enough back away from the wall that you can lean into it. Now again, this is spine, so we don't want to go crazy. We don't want to push on our bones. We want to feel the muscles of the upper back between the shoulder blades. And it might take some maneuvering up and down. I almost feel like this is a little too high. So take time to adjust so it feels good, okay? Up and down. And then when you get to a spot that feels kind of nice, give yourself a great big hug. Tuck the chin. Have a big breath. And then when you exhale, melt your body back into your support. Peel the shoulder blades back. Lift the gaze. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin. Roll with this now, so gently, right? We're in this curvy position, we're rolling, we're only trying to feel muscles. We don't want to feel any bony stuff. And up and down we go, just a couple more times. And then use your legs, pressing up, open the arms, exhale, wrap, melt against your support with the ball or the roller. Eyes high, hands heavy, collarbone lifted. Nice and expansive in the front side of the body. Because we just did some work for the back side to help this open up. Okay, let's finish with this sucker. Go ahead and bring your ball again, your little guy. And we're just gonna take this and work a little bit up in the neck and shoulders. So working the same side of the body, take the ball and just roll across the top of the shoulders. This arm can go wherever. It can be heavy. If it's hanging heavy, there's going to be a little bit more of a line of tension, so you might want to support your arm there so this muscle can be a little softer. And again, just going up and down from where the neck begins down to the shoulder, just on that meaty part of our muscle, and then lightly go back and forth. And you might feel different spots that the ball sort of jumps over. That's good awareness. That's telling you that that's a tight spot. So pause at the tight spot. Breathing in, breathe out, little extra pressure with the ball, depending on how hard it is, right? Melt your ear away. And then let's do that again. So just gently back and forth, left and right. So doing this kind of thing is sometimes forgotten about. We sometimes forget that we got to take care of our bodies this way. but it helps to rebalance the body so we're not ingraining those movement patterns too deeply. This is a way of undoing those movement patterns. It's a great tool for body awareness. Find your next stretch spot. Breathe in, breathe out, gentle pressure. Melt your ear away from your shoulder. And then bring your gaze back up. You can switch hands. We're going to take this and just gently take the ball behind the ear, right at that little spot where behind the ear there's a little pocket where the skull is, and behind the ear there's a nice little muscly spot right there. We're just going to take the ball, and if you got hair there, you might just want to move it because the ball might stick it. And again, this arm can hang, this one can stay supported. Very gently make little circles. Wobble and bobble your head a little bit. And then just feel, in a second, we're going to feel how this whole one side of our body is a little different than the other, hopefully. Finding that good spot. There might be some hidden little knotty spots. Think about all these muscles that are holding our big noggin up, right? They attach right there. So finding a spot, using gentle pressure, breathe in, breathe out, press the ball to the knot. Melt your noggin against the ball. And then let it go. The final thing we're gonna do, let's put this away. The final thing we're gonna do, and you might even notice just by taking that away, like I notice it feels like, woo, like my head is really big on this side. Last thing we're gonna do is just take our fingertips, put them on the forehead, and with gentle pressure, just move your head around under your fingertips. And it seems kind of silly what we're doing, but in effect what we're doing is releasing that whole entire back line that we just did. So there's a back line of fascia that starts in our heels and it goes zip, zip, zip and attaches right here above the forehead or above the eyebrows on the forehead. So gentle massage of the forehead. Great place to cover your eyes, close your eyes. Breathing in, breathing out, press your forehead towards your hands, hands towards the forehead, so it's extra little gentle pressure. Breathing in again, breathe out, let it go. Give things a shake. Notice, take a second to feel everything. We just finished here, so feel how that is. Feel how this is. This is. Mid-back, butt, outer thigh, hamstring, calf, foot. So if you put that whole kit and caboodle together on one side, notice how that one side feels compared to the other. And even just by pausing and taking that second to notice, that gives the body a chance to rewire and make new neural pathways for body awareness. We need more of that so that we can work efficiently and know how to take care of ourselves, right? Okay, thank you for joining me. Feel free to hit rewind and do the other side. I encourage you to do that so you don't walk funny, so that you feel amazing on both sides. Okay, we'll see you again.